What's going on, y'all? It's Henry from the PSI Defense Channel coming to you with another video. I just shout out to Daniel Sterling. Got a couple tanks in the mail. I got my First Strike 10 CI Shorty, and then I also got the 17 CI Half Pint Hero 2 tank. This is a carbon fiber tank, holds quite a bit of air, and surprisingly enough, it wasn't a whole lot bigger than my 15. There's a 15, there's a 17. And there's the difference. Not a whole lot more difference. What I'm going to do, I got this for my VKS. There we go. And that's at the last click right there. You see I got the lower off, but boom. Yeah, looks great. Just a little bit of protrusion, but when shouldered, it's really comfortable, especially with the round back end. And even if it does protrude with a square back end with a conventional tank, it doesn't really bother you too much. So what I'm doing today, I've got some questions on installing the First Strike extra high pressure kit. So very simple install, so it should be a very easy video. All you need is First Strike tank with one of the low profile regulators. Hero, Hero 2, Hero 3, they all work. This is the Hero 2, that's 45 PSI. The 10 CI has a regular Hero regulator. The Pepperball tank is an unbranded Hero regulator. As you can see, here's a for comparison. This is the 10 CI Shorty, and this is the Pepperball. As you can see, the only difference where's it at? Is that right there. It's unbranded. Exact same regulator. So I've actually installed this kit in these as well. So what the Pepperball pressure kits come with, these are very inexpensive. Don't have a link at the moment because everybody's out of stock. Sterling Self-Defense is going to restock here shortly, so that's where I'll be getting mine from. I've gotten from A&S, from Rockstar, but like I said, everybody's out of stock. Comes with a replacement spring and 3 shims. And the 3 shims are color coded because they're different thickness and they will add different pressure increases, with a caveat, because we're talking about shims and spring tension, so none of it is going to be precise. You're going to need a tank output pressure tester. This was mine, and I've got custom parts, paintball on off on there. Got a little bit of brass hardware, then an oil filled gauge. You can see that one goes up to 3,000 PSI. Everything taped up really well. Very accurate. The reason why you want the custom pressure or similar on off, so when you screw this on a pressurized tank, to try to unscrew it with pressure still inside of here, it was nearly impossible. So this, when you unscrew it, it bleeds off the pressure. It's perfect. I love these. So what you're going to need your tank, you're going to need your kit with your 3 shims, and they are color coded. So this one here is the silver one. Then you have these 2. One is black. So you have a black one, and I think it's gold. I'll put I'll cut in the instruction because the instructions don't come with this. I'll cut in the instructions right here so you can see. Here's the instructions, guys. These instructions actually came with a 4500 PSI Hero 2 regulator that I bought separately. Not sure why it doesn't come with the high pressure, mid pressure, or low pressure kits that they sell, but you have it here. Feel free to pause the video, read it. As you can see, the black shim gives you 5/1000ths of an inch, and it gives you 20 psi bump. The silver shim is 10/1000ths of an inch, and that gives you 40 psi. And the gold one, it's kind of gold, kind of looks copper, but the way I can tell which one that one is, it's not the black one, it's not the silver one. So it's not really gold, but it's kind of copper. And that one is 15/1000ths of an inch, and it gives you 60 psi. And then you can add those together, and you're supposed to get about 120 psi bump. But like I said, springs and shims, it's not precise. So you're definitely going to need a tank output pressure gauge if you want precise readings. But typically, if you put all three shims into any kind of first strike regulator, you get about 1,000 psi if you're using the extra high pressure kit. That's the only one that will be any benefit to you for less lethal. So hopefully this answers a lot of your guys' questions. So yeah, you add up the different type shims that you need, and you get the desired pressure output, but you have to measure it in order to be accurate, because it's not necessarily accurate. Some stock tanks, they come from a range of 800 to 850. Some of them might be 875. Some of them might be 775, 795. You just don't know, so there's no substitution for testing it. You're gonna need your big Allen wrench. Sorry guys, I don't know what size this is, but it's the one that you adjust the velocity of your first strike regulators with. So you press down that fill nipple, and then I just kind of grab the end and just unscrew the tank. That's how I do it. All right. Also, make sure you have some first strike laceration ointment handy. That's highly recommended. All right. So there's the fill nipple, the spring. That. So hold on to this, because you don't want everything to fall out and then just dump it out like that. This comes with a red spring. Usually I see a blue spring in there. Get down to the bottom of that, but here's your plunger. So what you're going to do, put a little grease on the O-rings. Try not to put a glob of grease on those little pinholes there. Let's see. Yeah, see those little pinholes? Try not to glob a bunch of grease in there. Maybe put a little grease on that ball tip on the end. Definitely on this O-ring here. O-ring there. O-ring there. Grease those up really well. And then you take the spring from the kit. Actually, put your shims on first. Since I want 1,000 output, PSI output, I'm going to stack all three shims. And you know, just do a little math, and you can get the desired outputs that you want. All right, and this part is really important because there's a lot of friction that happens inside this sleeve, so you're going to grease the outside of this spring. All right, get it nice and greased up on the outside of that spring. All right, then you insert your spring and shims directly in like that. There's actually an O-ring at the very top of your plunger, so I'm going to put a little grease on there too. As well as the O-ring right here. All right, also looping those threads. So then, just pop that spring. It's not going to be perfect, but all right. So just place that spring on top of there, put this on top of here. Make sure you don't cross thread, and then screw that back in here. One thing about the Hero 2, you have this nice magnetic collar that allows you to adjust where you want it while it's pressurized. The regular Hero 1s, you have to do it while it's unpressurized because it has to come apart in order to adjust where your gauges and such are going to be when it's installed. So pressing that pin in, screw that down. I saw a video A&S Gear has about doing this, and Rory had an Allen wrench with a hole right there, so you don't even have to worry about pushing that in. If anybody knows where to get that, please leave that in the comments. I would love to have one of those. But yeah, there you go. So this should be about 1,000 PSI. I'm about to take this to my paintball pro shop before they close, fill all my tanks, and yeah, I'll get you a pressure gauge reading before I end this video.
2 hours later.
All right, you guys, back from the paintball shop, filled up all my tanks. It's great to get a good relationship with your local paintball pro store or with your scuba shop or wherever, because I go in there all the time and fill up tanks. Normally they charge $4 or $5 per tank, but I just filled 8 tanks, including 2 45 PSI Hero 2 tanks for 15 bucks. So always pays to, you know, connect with people. So, all right, my 17 CI Hero 2 tank, and that is just under 1,000 PSI, which is 950, which is perfect. I love it. Love that for the VKS. My 15, if I recall properly, is at 1,000. And see, that goes to show you. Same springs, same exact kit, same regulator. In one, it's 950. And in this one, yeah, dead on 1,000. So, pays to get a really good tank output pressure gauge if you're wanting a specific output PSI. If you don't really care, you just want to beef it up, throw all the shims in, slap it back together, you should be fine. It shouldn't be much more than 1,000. If you want 900, leave the smallest shim out. Most of the time you'll get probably 950, but it's hit or miss. So, you know, invest in this. I think since I got this part right here is like $36. I got a really good gauge this time because I had on my older one, I had a non-oil filled guy right there. It's okay, but the oil filled ones are a lot more precise. You know, the hardware, I doubt if it's like $6. I think all in all, this is like maybe $60, 65 bucks in stuff, but it's well worth it. I use it all the time. So it definitely comes in handy. So there you have it. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, if you found value in the content, please like, share, and subscribe. Really helps out the channel, helps me move forward and continue to bring you guys hot content. Again, this is Henry from the PSI Defense Channel signing off, reminding you to show some love today. Make sure you take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.